Good evening, everybody. This is Gotta Love Breath, or at least it's evening where I'm sitting, which is 6:04 p.m. in California. So it is currently evening for me. The sun hasn't come down yet, so it doesn't officially feel like the nighttime has spread, but it's still, I'm kind of tired. Just got home from school, and I'm like, well, I haven't blogged in about 24 hours, and so I need to get in front of the microphone and really rile you guys up for no reason, which I'm not going to do because, none of these vlogs are planned, so there's nothing very exhilarating about any of them, for the most part. And today I wanted to talk about, Megas brought up a topic which I thought was kind of interesting. He sort of went through games that I love that everybody hates, and games that I hate that everybody seems to love. So I've decided to do kind of the same thing with movies, kind of go through different movies that I love that other people hate, or that I like that other people hate, and just go through and discuss them, because I think it's an interesting topic. And also there's some lower key movies here that a lot of people haven't seen that I think people should see because they're good movies, even though they're generally hated. So let's just get down to the nitty gritty and dive right in. One film that immediately comes to mind when I think of a movie that everybody hates that I seem to love is the Woody Allen film Scenes from a Mall. This isn't actually directed by Woody Allen, it just has Woody Allen in it. And it's an excellent little comedy. It's really well written, very well directed. I just love the style of the whole thing. And the humor is very mature, a little more sophisticated than most comedies. It's not all just slapstick and horrible puns and really, really bad sight gags. This is just two people in a mall talking and fighting and bickering and breaking up and getting back together and nearly divorcing, and it's really a chaotic mess of a day that these people are going through. The entire plot is that Woody Allen and I don't even remember the characters' names, but Woody Allen's character and his wife are on their anniversary. The kids have been sent away and they're basically at this mall. And they're going shopping, and they're enjoying their anniversary and everything. And Woody Allen decides to tell her about his affair that he's been having, that he's just going to call off on their anniversary. Yeah, really smart timing, man. And it leads into this whole predicament of situations, hurt feelings, chaos everywhere, and it's a great little movie. It's more of a dramedy, I guess, than a straight-out comedy, but everyone hates this movie. Every critic that I've read who's seen it hated it. Every review that I've read on any website seems to hate it. And I guess some of their complaints are, founded, since there are some things in this movie that are a little hard to buy. They're a little ridiculous, but it's so funny. And it's so well written, and it's so just genuinely original that you really haven't seen a movie like this. And it's a really great piece of work, in my humble opinion. Both my mom and I love this movie. We watch it together all the time, and we just think it's the absolute hilariousness of Woody Allen. He's great in this movie. I'm trying to remember the actress who plays his wife, though. She was fantastic. Part of the whole thing is this is a very adult movie, and the humor is very adult, not necessarily in the sexual way, although there is one scene that's which is another one of those ridiculous scenes where there's a little thing in the movie theater where they do something kind of kinky, which was sort of stupid, but most of this movie is very low-key. It's more subtle, dry kind of humor, which is the type I like anyways. And it's just, check it out. I really wish more people had seen this movie. It's genuinely good if you want my personal opinion, but many of you won't. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, I'm waiting for the comments to come flying in going, what the hell? Why did you like this movie? This is the most horrible thing on the face of the planet. It had aliens. Where do aliens fit in the Indiana Jones continuity continuum thing? Here's the whole thing. It was a fun-ass movie. I walked into this movie expecting nothing more than a big, goofy, campy, good time. And that's exactly what I got. A big, goofy, campy, good time. Him surviving the nuclear explosion in a refrigerator didn't bother me. I thought it was hilarious. The sword fight between the two trucks, that was hilarious. The fact that the truck drives off a cliff, lands in the water, and then it's like this U-boat kind of truck, and then they end up driving off a waterfall, but then that waterfall ends up being another waterfall, and then the other waterfall ends up being another waterfall. All of this was really funny, including I Everybody complains about the ending, and I understand it's a bit anticlimactic and it's a bit silly and it's a bit ridiculous. But let's really look at it here. This is a movie that has already stretched believability up to such a level. In my opinion, the entire reason they put the nuke sequence like right at the beginning is because it's like, all right, this movie is absolutely absurd. You're either going to buy it or you're not going to buy it. The acting, I'll admit, there's huge flaws in this movie. I'm not going to deny that. The acting is considerably hammy compared to the rest of the Indiana Jones movies. The writing is a lot less sharp. This actual backstory behind the Crystal Skull is very hard to follow through most of the movie since they kind of blow through the history and it's kind of like, yeah, it's an alien skull. Okay. Then you just have to kind of buy all this stuff. And honestly, I thought the aliens were cool. I didn't think that it destroyed Indiana Jones. It didn't ruin the reputation of the original trilogy. Certainly isn't up to the quality of Raiders of the Lost Ark or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. But it's a lot more fun than Temple of Doom. And I actually think it's a better written movie than Temple of Doom, to be sure. It's just ridiculous. It is. It's absurd. But how many absurd movies do we watch and we enjoy? If this hadn't had the Indiana Jones name on it, I swear that this would be a cult classic. This would be the kind of movie that you'd recommend your buddies to sit down and watch. Just because, hey, you want to watch something really fun and really just out there? Let's watch this. It's this weird, kind of wacky action-adventure film with great action sequences, some funny one-liners, and a really bizarre premise. And you would buy it. And it's got the Indiana Jones flavor. It's got Harrison Ford. The music is there. The writing is there. The style of it is very reminiscent of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The only thing is, are you willing to buy Indiana Jones surviving a nuclear explosion, which is, in my opinion, a highly underrated sequence, which is hilarious? Or are you willing to accept the aliens? And the aliens aren't all that much more ridiculous than ghosts coming out of the Ark of the Covenant, for Pete's sake. Okay, I'm gonna let that one go for a minute. I didn't love this film. I loved it the first time I saw it. Second time I kind of went, nah, it's a fun movie. It's a movie well worth watching. And I feel that a lot of people passed it up because they heard about how awful it was. Just lower your expectations. Don't come in expecting Raiders of the Lost Ark. Come expecting Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade times 3. And I think you're pretty much going to get Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. A very, very fun movie. Let me try to think. I had some other ones here. Oh, Stuart Smalley Saves His Family. Another movie that nobody has seen, but everybody who has seen it despises it. This is based off of a SNL sketch, which I had never seen, by the way. And it's a story about a guy who had basically been raised in a highly dysfunctional family. And it's all about all of his Al-Anon meetings and all of his self-help stuff that he goes through in order to basically even be functional. And he hosts this show called Daily Affirmations with Stuart Smalley, which is the most freaking funny thing I had ever seen in my life. This movie opens up with Daily Affirmations with Stuart Smalley. Stuart Smalley is a member of several 12-step programs, but not a licensed therapist. He's sort of like a very, very gay version of Dr. Phil, except he's not gay, and he's not nearly as professional as Dr. Phil is. He runs this little show. He ends up getting fired, and he ends up going back home through a series of very unfortunate events, including his Aunt Paula dying. And it's basically just all about this character, and all about his backstory, him growing up as a kid in this dysfunctional family, how dysfunctional the family is, how he's kind of put up with all this. And it's a very funny comedy, which is also pretty close to reality. It gets sappy near the end. I'll admit, it gets a little bit... They try to pull the whole drama thing in the last third, and it works for the most part, but there's a scene in this that's completely unbelievable where I went, oh yeah, right. Like, his brother would really have said that through everything that we have known about Stuart's brother throughout this film. He would really say that. It's not as stupid as you'd think. It is actually a very smart movie and a very well-written movie, and obviously the best movie based off of an SNL skit pretty much ever made, period. Which isn't saying much because the rest of the SNL skit movies were all pretty much god-awful. So check out Stuart Smalley Saves His Family because it's a great movie that nobody likes. This is Gotta Love Breath, and I'm sure there's a lot of other movies that I could think of. Oh yeah, Superman Returns. Why the hell don't you like Superman Returns, people?